We are now at about 3 million users, 700 employees. Current valuation, it's north of $500 million. So first thing we realized is agencies were buying 6 or 7 different products and stitching them together with Zapier. So our first thing was like, okay, let's solve for that. Let's put them all in one spot.
I have huge respect to you and your team for everything you're building and the speed of implementation. Things get done super quick.
Our customers and the experts, we're here to serve. How do we get them to get us the feedback so we can build it as fast as possible? I literally felt like we were going to fail in that moment. I thought my life was over. I was very angry about it.
If you started over right now, where would you start?
I'd probably go to your YouTube channel and start watching videos. That would be where I would recommend.
There's this company that is taking the marketplace by storm, and the way that they've gone from 0 to a 500 million plus valuation is crazy and unlike anything you've seen in the marketplace. If you want to make more in your business or you want to start a new business, in this interview we talked about 5 to 6 different revenue streams where you can not just make money using this service, this company that we're talking about, but also white label it, where you build this foundation so you have sticky service that you sell to customers. And we talked about a way where you can actually build a solution and sell it to them. So not only can you build multiple streams of income, you can build a personal brand, your own community, and they've done all of the tech for 6 years. And you can build your own, slap your own logo, charge your clients and customers, and keep 100% of the profit. We're not talking about Salesforce, we're not talking about Shopify, we're talking about high level. And so I had the pleasure to interview Sean Clark, the founder and CEO, the co-founder and CEO of High Level. And we talked about how you, watching this, could do this as well. You could build on top of what they've already done. You could leverage their operating system, and you could build a business that can generate you upwards 6 to 7 figures and help you exit for 8 figures and beyond. Why do I know this? Because we talked about it and he confirmed that people are actually doing it and they have already done it. There's actually companies right now generating per year 8 figures, which means about 1 million per month using High Level and serving a specific type of client avatar. So in this video, we'll dive into how this was done, how they built High Level, how they find A players to build their team, how they build features that people actually want, and then more importantly, how you can use this to build a business for yourself, a business that you love, that isn't something that people will buy today and cancel tomorrow, but actually sustainable, where you have a lot of fun and you get to build a business that you love and around your passions, your strengths, versus looking at the marketplace like, I don't want to do this, I hate my business. Because what's the point of making money if you're not at least enjoying it? First of all, Sean, welcome to the Online Business Show. Appreciate you taking the time and jumping on, sharing with people how you're building your business, the stages that you're at right now, and then we'll go into the vision of the company moving forward. But appreciate you taking the time and jumping on.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, let me think here. So we are now at about 3 million users, 700 employees, and about 70,000 direct customers. That's where we are today.
And in how many years is that?
5 years. So
5 years. That's incredible.
Incredibly fast. Yeah.
So how much can you share in terms of either valuation or current revenue that you'll do 2023?
Gosh, I don't know our current valuation. It's north of $500 million.
Okay.
I think that's for sure. It all just depends on the market that day. But I think what I would highlight to anybody listening is the most important thing I'm proud of is that we were profitable almost from day one. And we bootstrapped this business for a very long time. And even to this day, we are profitable. So
I love it.
Small or large, don't fall victim to the fact that you need to use other people's money to build your business.
I obviously first wanted to know, what was it like starting High Level? Did you have an agency? Did you have a software before? And what was the idea? What's the problem you tried to solve in the marketplace?
I'm curious to dive into your mind when you started High Level. Because I'm sure you saw there's other softwares in the marketplace, and I believe you had an agency yourself. So this is built by agency owners who understand the market. So what was the vision when you're like, what is the problem we're solving in the market?
Okay, so let me correct you real quick. I never had an agency.
Okay.
But I absolutely had, my other co-founder, Robin, had an agency.
Okay.
And in fact, and that is actually a great segue into the story. So I had a SaaS company that was helping small businesses do accounts receivable management. But I knew from that experience a couple of things. I learned a couple of things. So one was I didn't like just being an add-on to somebody else's product. I got most of my customers from Xero and QuickBooks, which I loved and they were great. But I just knew that someday I would wake up and they would say, we now have invoice reminders as part of the system, and my business would go away. I also ran into a situation where I wasn't charging enough and I couldn't hire anybody else. So it was just me, which sounds cool until you're in that situation, and it's terrible. It just means you're not doing a good job being a business owner and pricing correctly. And so lucky for me, I was able to get the opportunity. I was able to sell that business. Somebody wanted it. They wanted to do something bigger with it. And I didn't know what, I had no clue what I was going to do. So I sold it to them, and it gave me about 6 months runway to do something else. So I started with another co-founder who's an engineer, still our CTO to this day. And we built sort of high level 1.0, and our vision was we were going to sell to small businesses and it was going to be amazing. And we went out, we started doing that. And we right away ran into this problem where business owners would say, we love the software, but we don't have time to implement it. So we're going to have to cancel. And I couldn't get it. I didn't understand it. As an engineer, it made no sense. They would say, on one hand, what you're giving me is super valuable, and I see that I need it in the future. And at the time, it was just reputation management and two-way text messaging. And then, so I literally felt like we were going to fail in that moment. And I was so lucky for two reasons. So first, I got a call from Rob and Alex, our now third co-founder, agency owner, and we had a co-customer in common. And he said, hey, I'd really like to get on a call and see what you're doing for our customer. And I remember at the time saying, why in the world would I ever get on the phone with this guy? He doesn't even pay me. I'm just wasting my time. But like almost every great idea that's ever come to me, it was something I thought was going to be terrible. So, and Robin was super nice. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I got on the call with him, and he really changed my world, my co-founder's world, and really helped create High Level. Because what he did first and foremost is he understood the product. He gave us lots of good feedback, and he didn't cancel 2 weeks later. So that was a huge win right there. And then he opened our eyes to the fact that there was this massive unserved market of agencies that were actually in the background helping to build the businesses of these small businesses that we were trying to help. So he helped us understand that if we really wanted to help the small business, we had to help the agency owner. And so that was really kind of the start or kickoff of our business.
Got it. And what would you say is the main problem that you're solving for agencies? Because a lot of agencies sell services, or up to this point where you've grown so big that now we're seeing a major shift, even in the personal brand space and the info space, where people like me want to sell software plus a service, or software with a service, not just a service like a one-time project thing.
Yeah, so let's go on that journey real quick. So version 1 of High Level. So first thing we realized is agencies were buying 6 or 7 different products and stitching them together with Zapier. So our first thing was like, okay, let's solve for that. Let's put them all in one spot. So we were running that down, and then we would get on the phone with agency owners, and they would say, I bought XYZ other product. I poured my heart and soul into it, and then my customer canceled. But what they don't understand is that other product wouldn't have done anything had I not put my heart and soul into it. And so then we thought, okay, wait a second. How can we solve for that? So then we came out with a white label. And what the idea there was really simple. We never wanted the client to see our brand. We wanted them to see the agency's brand. So that way they would associate all that value with the agency. And then yet another great example. So we did this for 2 or 3 years. It takes a while to build a lot of features. And so, but then I would get on calls with agencies, and I found a bunch of them that were literally bundling this up and selling on a recurring monthly basis instead of just including it in their services. And what I found was that was being radically successful for them, because if we think about services as an agency, we know the cancellation rates are really high, mostly because the costs are very high, and most small businesses just cannot sustain multi-$1,000 bills out to external parties for a long period of time. And so once I realized what these folks were doing, I literally just stole my best idea, as I always do, from my customers who just lead the way. And we created this SaaSpreneur model where we realized that in the future, all software is going to be sold to the end user through somebody like an agency, where it's not just, hey, here's a tool, but here's also me helping you use the tool to create an outcome and get you to an actual end result versus just go buy something off the shelf.
Now, what's interesting with High Level is actually how they're able to build so many features, release them, and get so many people moving from other softwares over to High Level. And so we talked about the process of knowing how to launch a new feature, how to know which one to build first, in a way that people love you and you build this goodwill with your audience.
It's also interesting that you start with local businesses, then I come in and I'm like, hey, I love working with personal brands, and I think you should go more into that space and more the info space. And so now you're building out community features, you're building out the course platform is ready, and like all these different things. And that was something that I thought was super impressive, that it's not just like, hey, this is coming in the future. It's like, hey, Gusten, what are your thoughts on this? And how can we, help you be more successful? And it's happening quick. And so I have huge respect to you and your team for everything you're building and the speed of implementation. As one of the big reputations and the perception of High Level in the marketplace, like things get done super quick. It's always customer focused. Where does that come from? Because I feel like it's a mission, it's an obsession for you. So maybe talk about the thought process behind that and your skateboard method when you launch something.
Yeah, sure.
You're like, it feels like we're building it together.
Well, I mean, we actually are. So I would say the customer obsession probably comes from me and my other two co-founders. Somehow you just are wired the way you're wired. I'm wired like this, and so are my other two co-founders. And so it cascades through the whole platform. And also early on, we recognize, you have to understand strengths and weaknesses. So, our weaknesses are we're terrible marketers, we're terrible salespeople. We aren't course creators, we aren't any of those things. But what we are is we're great engineers and we're good product people. And so we took those skills and said, okay, well, how do we fix? The other big thing is, how do we fix this model? So back to this whole idea that agencies were taking other people's products and putting them in place to help their customers and then losing them. Also, there was no recognition there of the failure of the agency having an impact on the software product. And so we said, well, if we do it this way, if we align our interests with our customers, we literally become partners with them, whether they even know it or not, because if they fail, we fail. It's not like they're selling High Level, they're selling their white label. So if their white label gets canceled, we get canceled, right? That's a radical departure from any other platform that's out there. And so it helps align the entire organization end to end that way. And then from there, what we recognized is, if you look at any platform, it has this big bloated feature list of which most people don't use any of it. And if you really were to look at where those features came from, they came from all the customers asking for things, but all the customers are not created equal in terms of their expertise when it comes to marketing. So our customers, being marketing professionals, when we go out and we say, look, we want to do community, what we do is we go to a person like you and we say, hey, listen, you know what community should be. You know what's important in community. You tell us and we'll build that first. And we just don't take a position on, hey, this is what we should build in this order, and we're so smart. We don't think like that. We think our customers are the experts. We're here to serve. How do we get them to get us the feedback so we can build it as fast as possible? And we do call it the skateboard. And the reason why is because here's what we find. When you ask someone what they want, they always say the same thing. They say, I want a race car. I want an F1 race car. I want to go super fast and corner really tight and all that stuff. But and that's definitely what's in their mind. But invariably, someone out of all the people, if you just come out with a skateboard first, it's still a vehicle. It still gets you. It's still faster than walking. And someone will say, you know what? I do want a race car, but actually I can start skateboarding right now today. I'll take the skateboard. And then you take the skateboard and you make it a scooter, and you make it a motorcycle, and you make it a car, and then you make it a race car. And along that journey, you'll find you can pick up people all the way, and they'll say, wow, you know what? That's exactly what I needed to get started. And they know that we're going to get to the race car, so they hang with us. But in the meantime, they're already getting value. They're already putting it out in the market, and we're able to evolve it in the way that they need versus trying to take a bunch of recommendations from dentists and doctors and lawn mow guys and lawyers and people who don't honestly know what they're talking about.
I'm curious to hear a thought behind not being an education company, but providing free education with the paid software, because there's a lot of softwares in this industry, and Some of them are more education and hype focused, not so much product focused, which there's only one of those two that I believe will win in the long-term game. And you're playing the long-term game.
Well, and again, go back to the way we do everything that we do. So we know our strengths, but we know our weaknesses. And when it comes to weaknesses, I think if you look at most software companies, and we just did this actually with our affiliates and paid ads. So look at most companies. First of all, they don't have an affiliate program. So that's one big miss. But second, most will say, well, we have an affiliate program, but you cannot run ads. Okay. Because we want to protect our brand name and we want to own it all. And it becomes this really selfish attitude. And what you're really saying is we're going to have people internal to our business that can do better than than our customers externally. And we just always take the different approach. I would say there's no way on planet Earth there aren't better PPC advertisers in the world than us and anyone will ever hire. So we opened it up. We said, you want to run keyword-based ads? You go for it. Because what I know is, some people will run it in high level and that's cool. But also some people are like, no, you know what? I'm going to run it against some other brand, or I'm going to run it over here. I'm going to run it over there. I'm going to run it on TikTok. I'm going to run it on Outbrain. I don't even know. And that's the point. I would rather reward the creativity of our customer base instead of running around thinking that we know it all, because we just don't. And I'd rather sit here and think, okay, how can we execute faster, get more features out the door, bring more value to the world, and then let our customers take it from there. You're the specialists, you're the experts. We're not those people. If you want to talk about coding or creating a feature or building an engineering team or creating a new, product, we'll own that. But outside of that, we think our customers know best.
It's like you have this attitude of abundance and you act from a place of power versus scarcity, right? Instead of like, how can we create the pie where we own and get 100% of it versus how do we create a big enough pie where everyone gets a slice and everyone is happy?
And it's interesting because a lot of people, when they want to get more money, they want to get a new role, a new position, maybe launch a new business. They, at least if they want to get a job, they look at the resume, the CV that they have right now, and they say, how can I make it better so I look professional when I go and apply for it? But Sean, and take it from here, he's got 700 employees. Here's what he's looking for right now. And maybe you want to apply and work with them. Here's how to position yourself to get hired by someone like me or Sean.
So early on, you start with who you have, and you have these young folks who are entrepreneurial, who don't have a lot of experience. Their LinkedIn resumes look terrible, but man, are they hard chargers. And many of them actually, I think, have street credit well beyond what a resume could ever have. And as you get bigger, though, you start to get told, no. You need to hire people with better resumes and better education and better accolades and this and that. But what you find is that when you do that, on the face of it, it sounds like it makes sense, right? Like, oh, you need to go find somebody with a lot of experience. Like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. But the problem is that experience, you have to be very careful where it comes from, because invariably, if it comes from an old stodgy company where it was okay to be slow or it was okay to think like everybody else, that's not what you want to import into your company. Right. And so what we found is that it's almost better to go with the people that are entrepreneurial and have terrible resumes. And if they have a deficit, train for that deficit. Like maybe they don't understand like HR law or something, or like, how to be a good manager or something. It's easier to get them a class in that or a course in that or to help them with that than it is, because you can't teach the entrepreneurialism. You can't teach the hunger. You can't teach the excitement.
Now, a lot of people who maybe have a job right now, maybe you're starting your business, or maybe you want to start a side hustle to just get an extra 1 to 5K per month in your business or in your job. We talked about how you can position yourself and how you can go ask for a raise instead of just asking, hey, can you pay me more? How you can earn your raise instead, which is way different. And the likelihood of you getting paid is way higher.
I think everyone wants to get paid fairly, but beyond being paid fairly, people are way more interested in being able to contribute something. And the people that you want on your team are the people that get a thrill out of seeing their ideas come to life, not the people who are constantly asking you for a raise. And I would, and I'm not saying don't pay people well. Absolutely pay people well, but realize that at some point an extra $1,000 or something isn't going to change their outcome if they don't come to the world already kind of that way, you can't make them that way. You need to hire. I always say hire for the smile. And I got that from a book. There's a store called Nordstrom and they made a book on this, but the idea is really simple. You walk into a store, if somebody doesn't know the product or doesn't know all the technicalities of all of that, but it's just super nice, that is a heck of a nice place to start. But if they're the most technical person in the world, we've all had these experiences when we meet people who know the product inside or out, but they're grumpy and they're the last person you want to talk to. You just can't teach someone to be nice. You can't teach them to be smiley or happy. Yeah. So just hire for the smile, hire for the excitement. Don't hire for the technicality or the resume.
Yeah, and I would say if someone comes to me and they want a raise, I always I learned this from Patrick Bet-David, who said, I'm happy to give you a raise based on what you're bringing to my customers, right? And so it's almost like if you want to get paid more, look at your bosses, your company's customers and ask yourself how you can provide more value to them. So for example, my video team, super expensive, but also brings in a lot of revenue. And so if our video gets 10,000 views versus 1 million views, obviously it's going to be a big difference in revenue. Yeah. And so if you want to get paid more, figure out a way to be compensated based on performance where you're actually increasing the revenue for the company.
Absolutely. You always want to be in a revenue producing position. It's a lot easier to ask for a raise if you're making the company more money.
A lot of people are struggling with recurring revenue and feeling like they always have to start over each month. So we talked a little bit about creating multiple streams of income and recurring revenue where you're creating something that's sticky and something that people feel like they can't cancel. They want to be on because of the value that you provide to them. And I wanted to know from Sean how he would, as a funnel builder or agency owner in general, no matter what the service is, how you would position yourself to charge both maybe $300 per month and higher ticket on the back end where you do something more done for you with them, because you can leverage code to build and sell the white label solution to them, to clients. And now it's sticky. They pay you for every month. And you can also sell a service that are done for you where you leverage team members to deliver it for them. And I can charge more front to back end profit maximization.
The traditional agency model, it used to be sold as, you can get 3 clients or 5 clients and get to 10K. The hidden secret there, of course, is that you'll lose them every 5 seconds and you'll be back on this hamster wheel of trying to go out and get more and more clients and lose clients. And it's a terrible existence. And so this is where, I'm obviously biased, but I've seen it so many times now that I just can't help but repeat it. The SaaSpreneur model for me is the best. There's a reason why. So I think take a step back from high level. There's a reason why software companies get venture capital and private equity and all this investment. It's because the model itself is insanely profitable. So like you sell a $300 a month recurring subscription to software, you're going to find that there's a 98% profit margin there. So it's not $3,000 a month plus ad spend, but the reality is the $3,000, the amount of work you're putting in, there's no way when you do the cost per hour that you're not making less than you would make as an employee someplace versus the $300, you're going to hold on to $290 or whatever. And then the idea there is the amount of work you have to put in on a go forward basis is zero. And so imagine that you go out and you meet 100 local businesses in your, and I don't care what type, you don't have, I always say, don't niche out in local, don't niche out in a specific industry, go sell 100 local businesses, a $300 a month product that they're dying to have, they're going to buy anyways, and they'll love. And then that's it. You're done. Like you could stop right there. And we're talking about, stopping by with a box of donuts every so often to say hi.
I realized a few years ago, if I become a growth partner, a consultant who build funnel strategy, we can build funnel ecosystems and I can create recurring revenue because I'm selling the front end funnel, the mid ticket, the core offer, and the back end and the homepage umbrella. And with high level, you can even do blogging. You can sell them the community management, and you can sell them all these other services that maybe they didn't even think about. And so now you're positioning yourself with AI as not just someone who writes copy, because customers might devalue that and say, well, ChatGPT can do a lot of that. Or high level can do a lot of the AI.
And obviously, we wanted to talk about AI. There's this huge opportunity with AI agencies right now that most people don't even know about. So on top of everything else where you can build funnels, you can do emails for them, you can do automation, you can do all these things that are valuable to clients, you can now add AI with high level. But maybe not what you've seen online. But there's a massive opportunity for you to sell an AI service to clients where you help them get more booked calls and you help them get more sales?
Yeah, sure. So we, again, we always lead with our customers. So the first version we saw, of course, was all the content stuff. So we've got, you can create all kinds of text content. You can do image generation in the system. And I think that was all good. But I also kind of AI is kind of a funny topic because I think it's really about taking what you were doing before and just automating as much of it as you can. So it's sort of becoming table stakes. But what I'm really excited about and what we're actually rolling out, we're going to roll out a big piece of it this week. And then another big piece next week, basically, is all around the bots. And the big part for me is, again, I come from the customers we first worked with, which were all about, and almost everybody has this issue, is leads. So everybody needs a lead, everybody wants a lead. And most of the time, a lead is just an opt-in of some sort. But then once you have that lead, they don't become a customer until you move them to an action. And and a lot of times it's booking an appointment. And so for me, we call it the nurture process. And it used to be that when you would bring a lead in, we could engage them and say, hey, thanks a lot for registering for my offer. We'd love to get you all set up, but you need to book an appointment. Is now a good time? And that flow worked beautifully. But if you said anything like, oh, well, I want to book, but do you have the widget in blue? All of a sudden we would fall apart because now we couldn't help them. But with AI, you can take that last mile and crush it. You can be like, yes, we actually do have that in blue, and the AI can do all of that for you in real time. And I think we are seeing a huge application of that. And while we'll call it AI, I think what we really need to do is sell the value of it. And this is something I talk to people about a lot. Is we talk about features because we're professionals, right? Yeah. But the biggest thing we need to do with our customers is talk about outcomes. So I think AI is just yet another feature that's going to allow us to get to that outcome a lot faster, a lot more automatic, a lot more 24/7, like all of those sorts of things. Not necessarily selling it as a tool for the end user, but selling it as a way for us to accelerate those outcomes for them.
Yeah, so we're selling more booked calls automatically, even when you're maybe sleeping and you're spending time with your family. As a business owner, like you're still going to get booked calls. And maybe even there's a way to find, to have the AI chatbot ask questions and direct them almost like a quiz. You would send them to the right sales page if you're selling courses or digital products. You could say like, okay,
so we have this coming. So this will be our next version. So version 1 will basically be all about because going back to AI, when I first saw AI come out, we all thought it was cool. But the thing that struck me was, well, wait a second, where is it asking me to take an action? Because if we don't get you to take an action, it doesn't matter, right? And no one's really wanting to chit chat the plumber or even chit chat the coach. And even if they do, the coach wants you to do something, right? Yeah. And so the first thing we thought is, okay, let's talk about bookings because bookings are pretty critical. And then the second piece will be what we call filling out a form, but you can think about it like exactly what we talk to, which is, okay, I want to ask some questions. And in some cases, I just want to know the answer. So like, hey, what's your budget, right? Okay, here's the budget. Boom, we're going to dock that answer. And then from there, it's, oh, hey, are you ready to take that step right now? And if they say yes, we want to do this. And if they say no, we want to do that, right? And have the AI basically essentially conversate them the way we might on a sales call and get them to the correct end based on their questions and answers. And that's definitely version 2 of the bot that'll probably be out in October.
And funny enough, for a lot of people who think, man, I would love to build a company and exit it for millions, we talked about how you can actually potentially build something, a solution for high level, and sell it to them. Yes, if you got the right solution, they're looking to buy something from you.
Do you think that high level in the future, when you see maybe AI apps or different solutions out there, do you think that you also want to build this portfolio company where you buy them, kind of like what Salesforce did, where you buy up companies and you build these solutions to speed up time of development?
We will. I mean, the new version of the marketplace does many things. First of all, it's designed to help these folks get exposure to our customer base. Because again, I think of apps like I think of ideas. Like the best apps will win, and from there, that's exactly right. We'll go out to those people and we'll be like, hey, are you at all? For the right people, we'll say, are you at all interested? Because we'd love to buy you. If someone has a great app that's serving a great purpose, that has a great feature, why would we go out and build that when we can just acquire that person and bring it in? Because we just know more people love it, but we'll absolutely watch our customers as we always do to see where they think we should go next.
I love that. We've now covered maybe 5 different revenue streams for people, and now they just had another opportunity to be acquired if they build the right thing that people want. and
Well,
build
this
a
is
good
the
one?
idea, right? This is the idea. We know that there are lots of people out there that have different skill sets, right? Different strengths, different weaknesses. And some people will have the strength of finding niches or finding features that we just missed. And as a result, we want to, if we're not going to build it, we want to make sure we can help them have a great business and make a lot of money. QuickBooks did this for me. Xero did it for me. I'll forever be grateful. And I want to do that in return for someone else. But also there'll be some people where it's like, oh, shoot, that's a great feature. Everyone needs that feature. Thanks for building it. We'll acquire you and we'll just bake it in.
And right now I'm building a marketplace for funnel builders and funnel templates. And you can be on both of those. But we talked about how there's an unseen opportunity right now with High Level where you can get involved and build something as well.
I'm working on a marketplace to host a ton of both funnel builders and also funnel templates. And so if someone right now is listening, maybe they're a developer, they see this opportunity, they could build a marketplace feature, a marketplace plugin, build it really well, listen to customers, see other successful alternatives, build it to High Level, and then have an opportunity to be acquired. Obviously not a promise, but it's an opportunity.
I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, absolutely. I see huge value in that. I mean, I think templates are so important. I mean, we so important that we even build them ourselves, even if they're not the best. I'd rather have something in there than nothing, just because I see, I think of it as myself. I'm super not creative. So, if I could start with something that looks good out of the gate, I'd feel so great about that. But knowing that somebody's got a marketplace, probably where they'll have more battle tested templates where they can show, hey, this template worked really well in the real world with real results for this niche. I think that could be incredibly powerful.
I also wanted to know from Sean, who's built this massive company, I wanted to know what the best way to get started as a beginner was. So, affiliate marketing, agency, or white label software, where would he start if he got into this world today?
If you started over right now, where would you start?
I'd probably go to your YouTube channel and start watching videos. That would be where I would recommend going personally. Definitely check out our YouTube channel. I think you'll learn a lot. But again, I think remember who we are and what we're good at. We're good at pumping out the features. I'll have some Sean coming at you videos today. But I really think people should listen to a guy like you, because I think that's really what you do so well, which is you're able to take and synthesize all of these items down into a real strategy that helps people actually execute and create a business. So personally, I would try to find somebody like yourself who could kind of lead me through a lot of that complexity.
Would you start as an affiliate, an agency, or a SaaS?
I would start as a local SaaS, because for me, I sort of think about like, how would I execute this tomorrow? I'd walk out my front door. Because it's likely I know a local business owner. It's likely I know how to join the Chamber of Commerce. It's likely I can find a business in my local town who would benefit from some of this stuff. But I really think you ought to think about, again, your personal comfort levels, strengths and weaknesses, where you think you're good. Some people don't want to get out from behind their computer, so they're going to have to find a strategy there, right? But the nice thing is, you choose your path here, and all paths lead to success. So you really should figure out, well, what does my past experience tell me? Or what is my comfort in, knocking on doors? What is my comfort in giving presentations? What is my comfort in, those sorts of avenues? And honestly, I'm telling you, there is a great business for all of those avenues.
And then finally, I wanted to get deeper into Sean's mind and ask him questions about his story, his main lessons, the stories that maybe he hasn't told anyone yet.
Sean, is there a story that maybe you haven't told where there was a massive lesson kind of hidden that you felt at the time? You felt like, man, this sucks. Why is this happening to me? But then you realize this is actually going to help me become a better person, learn something to then build a better company and bigger company because I've grown as a person.
I mean, I would say how we got here, right? So, I mean, it is an absolute lesson in failure. So one of my biggest lessons would be, in not my last business, but the business before, I dropped out of college to start an answering service. And I know that doesn't sound cool to anybody, but what it really was is it was taking inbound phone calls for small businesses. And I saw how impactful it was on them. And I fell in love with that business because I saw how we could help those businesses. Now, I was an 18-year-old kid and I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And when I left that business, I was actually legally constrained from starting a competing business. And at the time, I thought my life was over. I was very angry about it. I thought that was exactly what I wanted to do. And I couldn't believe that I had to wait, I think it was 2 years at the time, to start that type of business. But it turned out that while the original thesis of helping small businesses was right, fundamentally, I'm so thankful that I didn't start that business, because I think that model is dying, and I think it's being replaced by things like AI. And it was because I couldn't start that business that fundamentally forced me into going elsewhere. And that elsewhere really changed my world in a way that I would have never been able to do had I stuck to that original idea. So I'm so thankful that I was legally constrained, even though at the time I thought my life had ended.
It made you the leader that you are today, where you can handle a team like this and you seem to be thriving and enjoying it, versus, instead of feeling like, man, everything is stressful and everything sucks. And obviously it's probably not easy, but at the same time, you become a stronger person because of what you've been through. So
exactly. That's the thing about life. In the moment you think, gosh, this is the worst thing ever, and I wish I could get out of it. But I think with time and distance, you realize that, yeah, well, maybe it may not have been pleasant, but you certainly learned something. And if anything, you proved to yourself you could get through it. And I think that's very powerful.
Builds a lot of self-confidence. I have this question that I ask when we're at the end of the episode. What's one thing I haven't asked that if I did ask would change my audience life for the better?
I would say, I spent a lot of time originally myself thinking I needed guidance from other people, or there was some magic trick or some shortcut out there. And retrospectively, while you certainly learn things along the way, I think it is impossible upfront to really figure that stuff out. So I think the faster you start, and even if that's to get to your first 10 failures, the faster you get to those moments, the faster you're going to find success. And so truly holding back at any moment, because you feel like you just need to buy or get or locate or read or get some answer from some resource, I think that's a big fallacy that people put in their brains. And I think this is something where if we would just let it go and just get out there and start going through it and hitting up against those failures and continuing to move forward, you will get where you want to get ultimately much faster than you can really imagine. Even though in the moment it feels like you're missing something or you don't understand something, the reality is no one's going to give you that. You got to go out and find it. And you're only going to do that by trying.
Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
I will put a link to High Level for everyone to go sign up. We got a special link for 30-day trial. And when people sign up, they get all my pre-made funnel templates and social media templates and emails and a workspace in the Snapchat link, so they can get quicker up and running using this and building all these different revenue streams with High Level. So appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, bye.
And so that's it, you guys. Let me know what you think. What was your biggest takeaway? That is the only cost. Also, hit the thumbs up for this, because the more likes it gets, the more people see this. Also, subscribe so that we get more subscribers and we bring more guests like this one onto our channel for you for free. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.